Ah. Yeah, well, such is life, isn't it? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, boys and girls. How are we all doing? Ooh, this new version of OBS looks oddly interesting. That's alright. Anyway, yeah, so as sponsored, today we shall participate in this quasi philosophical discussions that we have now and then that you lot seem to, or some of you seem to enjoy quite. Yes, well, it's yeah, can't complain. It means it doesn't mean that I get to play less video games, which is not necessarily a bad thing, you know. You're welcome. Okay, what was I saying? Let's have depending on the first topic, we'll do either 2 or 3 topics. So if we could, our administrator could give us the first topic, please. Actually, in the future, why don't we just rank them by order of preference, and you lot can sort of like, yeah, we'll do it as a novel monetization. No, Quitchy did not miss our advertisers. Mostly because I don't even want to read our advertisers today. Monetize, prioritizing, philosophy questions. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay, no, that's fine. Well, okay. If the To Annoy Muses Corporation number 0 would like to make an official statement for me to read out, I am perfectly happy doing so. Given that this was sponsored, you lot will have to come up with a unified statement. Knowing you lot, I don't think that's very possible, but nah, you know, surprises. And when you do, send it to our administrator, and I will attempt to read it out if I think that that the text is like it doesn't it can make fun of me, that's fine, just as long as it's, you know, like stream friendly and NDA friendly, etc, etc. Yes. Yeah, we'll have the 2 to 3 questions today. Go ahead. Okay. Gorbachev, Mikhail Gorbachev. Okay, all right. That's Gorbachev is a divisive person. Okay. What time are we? We're at 3:30. 3:30. Yes. Okay. Gorbachev. So, first things first. I do not think that. So, to me, Gorbachev is a great man. To me, he is. He's also tragic. Just because you're great doesn't mean you did the right thing. Doesn't mean you did the wrong thing. It means that you met a great person meets life with everything they can, they have to give, and all right, and to me, he truly did. He truly did. There is always going to be this great debate on the fall of the Soviet Union and Gorbachev's sort of role in letting it happen. Right. All of the obituaries we read, it also everybody talks about the fact that, you know, he didn't necessarily mean for the Soviet Union to end, but when he definitely didn't mean for the communist government to end, but when time came and our boy Boris, not Johnson, when our boy Yeltsin started taking over sort of the local nationalist movements, right? Like, um, that led to the dissolution of the Soviet Union, and there was nothing that Gorbachev could do to stop it because at the end there was only Russia left, right? And when it was only Russia left and Boris was the leader, was effectively the leader of Russia, there was nothing that like there was no reason for the Supreme Soviet to continue to exist. Hmm. The eternal debate of the fall of the Soviet Union. By the so by that time, I don't worry about it, Quitch. It's not that important. But by that time, this okay, you can think of it as an obituary or a eulogy to Gorbachev. Let's put it that way. Um, by the time that the Soviet Union was to be dissolved, there was no union really left because there was nothing left, right? All of the Stan countries, all of the Eastern European countries had already declared their independence. Um, Germany was basically united, and it was in some ways, and I don't want to draw too hard of an analogy to this. It was reminiscent of the Versailles divisions, right? Of course, except the Versailles divisions were imposed on Germany and Austria and technically on Soviet Russia, on the Soviet Union externally, whereas the modern countries that rose out of the Soviet Union rose out because they were part of the Soviet Union and they had already established government, uh, essentially government bureaucracy in place, right? Because you cannot really establish a bureaucracy out of nothing. That's simply impossible. And so the difference, one of the critical differences between post Versailles and the post 1990 is that post Versailles, that kind of nationalist movement was imposed in a way that was just wrong, right? Like the post Versailles, if you look at what happened in the 1920s and early 1930s within the Balkans, and I'm mostly speaking about the Balkans in this case, that kind of existence, the problems that were raised post Versailles still exist today, and that is one of those tragedies that nobody really ever thinks about, right? Like, and I appreciate we've gotten off topic. We were supposed to talk about Gorbachev, but that is exactly my point. That to me, Gorbachev was a great man because he, like, the weight of history, the weight of civilization was not something that he could stand against for a long time. And if he did choose to stand against it, it would have resulted in massive deaths in all of the successor states of the Soviet Union. And which we should all be studying, or we should all be studying history just a little bit, just to know sort of the big themes that come up in again. So to me, he was a great man because um, trying to stop that weight of civilization would have resulted in more significant death and, shall we say, destruction of already weak infrastructure. There we go. So that's why Gorbachev to me was that he was able to, well, if you read obituaries, you will You will hear talk about his devotion to his wife. You will hear about all of how Gorbachev was human when you can't be a feeling human to rule the Soviet Union, and that is all strictly speaking wrong. I don't think any of that is really like what makes him great, or what made him choose these particular choices. It was actually I don't want to impose my own understanding of what happened on a man's legacy. So we will end here to say that um, uh, the fall of the Soviet Union is not the blame. There we go. For the fall of the Soviet Union lays not at Gorbachev's feet. If anything, if there's anyone to blame for the and we're getting off topic now, but if there's anyone to blame for the fall of the Soviet Union, it is Brezhnev. In my view, right? Brezhnev was just like just there was that period of stagnation that was all Brezhnev, right? Like it's just it's stupid. The man was a fucking idiot. No, the man was truly not fit to lead up. Unlike let's say Khrushchev, unlike Gorbachev. I think any honestly Nikita 10 more years of Nikita would have been better than Brezhnev. Absolutely. 100%. Right? And that's just the sad part of that. Yeah. Like I firmly believe this. If the Brezhnev era did not happen, if someone else with a little bit more dynamism was there, right? Because Nikita Khrushchev pushed through a lot of changes to Soviet society that were then rolled back into the Brezhnev era, and so Brezhnev essentially pulled the country back from the brink of modernization into what it was like when Stalin was alive. And yes, which I am a teacher, and we are teaching right now, and so yeah, I would blame Brezhnev 100%. Fuck that guy. um, definitely did not do the Union any favors. Let's put it up, okay? What are your why do we have Brezhnev loyalists? Brezhnev. That is how you spell Brezhnev, right? I just Brezhnev. Can I not even spell fucking Leonid's name properly? Brezhnev. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Leonid. Brezhnev loyalist trying to burn down the Discord server. Yeah, you do you. Anyway, so that is my part of my eulogy to whom I believe is a great man, Mikhail Gorbachev. That's it. Thank you. Let's talk about the next one. And can we not talk about communism for a bit? If the next question is communism, we're gonna skip that. We've talked about communism every single time we did this. Let's not talk about communism anymore. Can we try to be at least a little bit original? Come on, guys. The Cold War is over. Oh, I don't want to talk about that either. Let's skip that one. Why is it all communism? Okay. Does man want to emulate their government? Yes, we can do this. 1500. Does man want to emulate government? And this is from Bagehot Lombard Street. Yeah, this is from our reading of Lombard Street, where Bagehot was claiming that man wants to, emulate government, blah blah, and let's be very clear. What Bagehot was talking about was the idea of deposit, right? Like, we shouldn't think that it should apply in all cases, but if government government deposits money at the Bank of England, then that gives the bank some amount of legitimacy that normal banks do not have. Therefore, people will want to uh want to do what? Want to also deposit money at that bank, such that their money is as safe as the government's, right? And hello, CBDC. Let's talk about central bank digital currency in this case, because this is essentially what that is, right? Oh, hey, look. Oh, that's cute. The new the new OBS studio is doing something. It's showing me alignments. That's very cool. The old one didn't do that. The old one's, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so let's talk about central bank digital currency again, because this is essentially that kind of idea, right? Allows people to directly access the safety of the central bank, and allows policy to be implemented much more directly via the central bank. That is not to say, and you are correct in pointing out that we are, strictly speaking, if the Fed wants to start opening accounts for every single American, it could theoretically do that. Absolutely, 100%. Will not argue that in the slightest. Is there a great difference? No. But what central bank digital currency does is it... Okay, now. At the end of the day, all money is a entry in the ledger at the central bank. CBDC is more a philosophy that allows the central banks to interact more freely with the retail depositors, right? And again, we come back to this question, and I mentioned this last time, I believe, when we talked about it. Before the Great Recession in 2008, I still am, from a macroeconomic perspective, of the opinion that the Fed should have just taken on all of the debts of all of the distressed mortgages and have like direct negotiations with the owners of those mortgages. Perhaps not through the Fed, but through perhaps Fannie and Freddie, and guaranteeing those mortgages and refinancing those mortgages, because it is much better for the community to refinance a mortgage than it is to fire sale it, right? Oh, did my face died? That's okay. No, it just is. There is no question about that. I will not tolerate argument on that point. Oh, I disconnected. Why did I disconnect? There we go. No, 100% it is better to keep someone in their home if you can. It is much better for the home, it's much better for the community, it's much better for literally every part except for the people who own those mortgages. And that's why when the Fed steps in, bunch of rents. And that's why when the Fed steps in and guarantees those mortgages, then those people who own those mortgages also do not have to then sell them all, or they can sell them to Fannie at distressed prices, and then the Fed takes them over instead of repossessing the house. Right? It's nonsense. And so, in my world, central bank digital currency would allow you to do that. That's. I don't want to talk about this either. Oh, right. Let's talk about, does man want to emulate government in the broader scheme? Broadly, originally when I posed this question, it was we wanted to talk about politics, and because one of the comments we had last time was, well, currently, the MAGA, our MAGA conservatives are not emulating, obviously, a progressive government, and that is perfectly fair, and that is perfectly reasonable, right? Like, we wouldn't expect them to do that, so we would never expect MAGA, or no, we should extreme conservatives to emulate a government run by progressives. And that's not the point here, right? Like, the point isn't, oh, can we force them to do something that's completely against their entire belief system. Like, we have had crusades due to different belief systems. So obviously politics is a religion. Anything is a religion. Obviously politics is a religion. Anything is a religion if it provides justification for actions, right? To me, that's how I would define a modern religion. It is not a belief system or a coherent set of belief systems, but if it provides a group, of people with justification for their actions. By that logic, yes, as one of our year one students has so aptly pointed out, by that logic, absolutely, modern progressivism is a religion, and I will fight that to the death. That will be one of my other hills. Modern progressivism is also a religion. And I will die on this hill. I will also die on this particular. So we have two hills right now that I would die on. One is central bank digital currency, and one is modern progressivism being a religion. There is no argument there, right? Because if you look at the way some of our progressive boys and girls are acting, they are very much quoting things that their prophets have told them without understanding why and how those things work. And that is exactly the same on the other side with our MAGA Republicans, with our conservatives, with our Trump conservatives. They're quoting and coding overloaded. No, you're not overloaded. You're just fine. Oh, OBS. Anyway, on the other side, we do see basically the same thing, right? Like modern like people that are farther to the left or farther to the right tend to be quite religious in their adherence to their party, and that's That's always been the case, though, right? Like we should understand that that's always been the case. Political, what is it? Extremism has always been part of humanity. And Victoria 3 is coming out, and when Vicky 3 comes out, we will talk about this, I'm sure, and I will claw out time to play Vicky 3, because it is a great venue for us to talk about these types of things, about economy, about politics, etc., etc. Obviously, it's not going to be a full simulation, but that's perfectly reasonable. Has always been as around has always been part of humanity. Socialist. No, we should say for the majority of humanity, it was always the progressive portions of the political spectrum that was causing the unrest, right? And that is true basically forever. We're talking women's suffrage, militant suffrage. We're talking the worker strikes, basically communism in all of its forms. Out has been one consistent militant struggle, right, against the government of the day. And out of that struggle rose the great social democratic parties that had existed. That I'm not no, I'm not no, I'm not giving a eulogy to social democrats. No, social democrats 2650, let's say 2650. I am not giving a eulogy to social democratic parties. But what I am saying is that most for the longest time, except for, if we're talking about Luddites and all of that, most of the time after the Industrial Revolution, let's put it that way, after the Industrial Revolution, for the past 150 years, the social unrest was caused by progressives, right? We're talking, again, suffragettes, we're talking communists, worker rights. My face just died. Oh, on the phone, my face died in such a way that I had my eyes rolling, so it looked like I was being very, very very sarcastic, but that's okay. That's anyway. So for much of humanity, again, I keep repeating this, but it is true, right? And it is really, like, if we include the Luddites, or if we exclude the Luddites, for social conservatives to be quite in democracies. Let's keep this in mind, right? In democracies, for conservatives to be militantly active is quite new, right? Like, that's I mean, you bring out a good question, and was it though, right? So okay, fine. What let's put it in. Nationalist Socialist Party was technically a advocated technically a mildly progressive agenda, right? And technically, at the beginning, advocated a mildly progressive agenda, right? Because they were anytime we talk about this particular party, though, like it gets everyone's sort of like alert sensors up, and it completely ruins the conversation. So let's. I will say this, including the 1930s and, including the war, the most actively militant people have been those that try to change society in a way that is almost no. See, yeah. The problem isn't with the nationalist socialists. The problem with the Nazi Party is broad and very much a everything bad. The way they presented themselves to the German public is not what we remember them by. Can we just be very clear on that? The way that the Nationalist Socialist Party presented itself to the 1930s German public is not what we remember them for today. Is not any of what we remember them for today, because obviously they did absolutely terrible things, and that there's no denying that. The way they presented themselves to the German public was not about those tragedies. They did not go out at first. They did not go out and say that our plan is to exterminate people. Our plan is to level half of Europe, right? Like that is not what they went out and said. And that is not how they got elected. So yes, this has been derailed. Yes, we should talk about it another day. We will have to. I will put it on a list. Nationalist Socialist Party and its messaging. VS VS progressive messaging. Yeah, let's do it like that. Right? So we will at some point talk about that. I really kind of don't want to, because yes, you see, there is nuance, and there is, how do I say? There is enough nuance in there that we should not be making such blanket statements, right? Because if you make a statement like that, what you are essentially saying is that the people who voted them in were absolutely 100% complicit in every single tragedy that then came along. And we know that's not true, right? We cannot blame the hapless or the German folk who only wanted stability for all the tragedies that followed. That would not be correct. Just like we cannot blame every single Brexit voter for the issues that Boris has left us, right? We can't. And so yeah, that's anyway. I'm not even gonna restart my face because we are technically done for today. No, I refuse. No. Okay, let me just add that. And just like we cannot blame every Brexit voter for the mess for Boris, right? We can't. We simply can't. And well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The UK is really suffering out of the EU. in this challenging time. There is no way of getting around that. We know that. We look at the statistics, we see the trend that the economy is moving in, and we know that if the UK had been part of the EU, some of these things would not have happened. All right, and that's tragic as hell to me. Yes. Any final questions, concerns? Okay. We will. Okay, so actually, no. What we will do is our conversation about nationalist socialism will take place in private, because then I can actually address our some of our audience directly, and that should make it a little bit easier. We'll have timed messaging, etc., right? Like time delayed, or like you're only allowed to send a message every 3 minutes or something like that, just so that we are able to have a clear and concise and respectful conversation on that, and give everyone the chance to actually read and be heard. Cool. Excellent. Let me blah 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 blah. We will have a private conversation stream on this, just with message delays, just so everyone can be read, can speak and be heard. Excellent. No, I'm done for today. Thank you very much for watching. In conclusion, please download Firefox, please don't do Chrome, and I shall see all of you guys tomorrow when we will be doing the Apple September 7th event. Yes, we will be talking about the new iPhone and how I will be getting one because my phone is dying. Oh yeah, you can't see my wink. Just assume that I winked. Yeah.